Good morning, everyone, and thanks for coming back to the channel and joining me today. Today I am going to be installing some Rally Raid front suspension on the CRF300L Rally. So there you can see I've got it on the rack behind me. I'm going to get it up on the jack and get the front wheel and everything off of it and start pulling things apart. So let's get to it. So the first thing we got to do is get the front tire off of the bike. So here's everything that the Rally Raid suspension kit comes with. You've got your main dampener, 2 springs. I haven't taken anything out of the packages yet, as far as because it's been sitting here, so I didn't want it to be covered in dust and dirt and things. It comes with the tool you need to get the fork tubes apart. I did order it with the seal driver. Basically comes with, it does come with a quart of fork oil, which is something I didn't know. I was in search of fork oil for it, and then I was told no, it comes with it, so that saved me a little bit extra there. You can see I've already got the rear shock off. That's already been changed out, so let's get started with it here. So you're going to want to loosen up these clamp bolts here. And forgive my lack of enthusiasm this morning. I've kind of quit drinking coffee and I've gone to this cacao, and my body is not really reacting so well. So once you get those loose, you got to have a 14 millimeter to get the axle out of there. That was tight, Honda. Jeez. Comes out real easy. And pull it straight out the bottom and pull out your your bearing caps. And out she comes. And once the axle is out, we can take off these covers. Just take note as to how your cable lines are routed here. We're going to take this and tuck him back up in here. See, I just kind of tucked it up under the fairing there so it's out of the way. Alright, so now we can drop this down and pull these fork tubes out of the triple clamps. I've only got, I don't even have 500 miles on this thing, I don't think, to be honest with you. So the seals I'm not replacing. They were out of stock when I ordered everything, so I just opted to run with the stock ones. But normally I would say change the seals while you're here, because you got to pull them apart anyway, so why not? But now we will take these out of there. Oop, wrong one. Come on, that one. So loosen the lowers up first. And once it's loose, it comes right out. Piece of cake, right? Put that right there. This side has a bunch of cables and everything in the way, your throttle cables, and they're kind of like right in the, there it goes. There she is. There it is. This side here has a bunch of cables in the way, so you just kind of move those out of the way so you can get to them. This side has got this brake loom here in the way, so you can move this out of the way and get to it and put a socket on there, but a wrench is just as easy. So pop that out of the way, and the fork tubes slide out. So you see I've got them here. I'm going to clean them up, and then we'll start taking them apart. So for those of you wanting to know why, look at this. Shouldn't be able to do that by hand. I can almost compress that with just my arms. And that is why we're replacing these. And here is the other side. This is the side that's just the spring. But even so, I can compress that by hand. Basically what it boils down to is there's a spring in the right side and the dampener is in the left side. So you're only sprung on one leg of the fork. So anybody over 230 or anybody over 130 pounds is going to be bottoming this thing out on a regular basis. Well, I forgot to film that, stupid me, but basically there's a screw right here on the end that you remove there, then remove the cap, and all the internals will come right out the top. You need to remove the cap itself from the rod, which is right here. This is the stock dampener, and you can see it falling down there all by itself. But yes, you need to remove the cap from the end right here. And here is the new dampener. You can see that is much bigger, much stronger. So basically what I need to do is get the spring, the new spring, put onto here, and then this will go back into there. In order to do that, I got to pull this cap off. Like so, and these washers come off. In that order. Then the spring goes down over the top of that. So this side is going to get the shorter of the two. Well, that was a little harder than they make it seem on the video that they have, but basically the spring slides over the top. You got a washer here on the bottom, and you got 3 other plastic washers up top here, and then you screw the cap back on, and then this all goes back in the hole. Come back out, because this has to be screwed into here now. This goes on there. And then you can tighten that up. We just want to snug it up, and then we can put some oil back in the bottom half. So the oil is going to go in through here. Okay, so what they recommend is 450 milliliters in the small hole right here. So what I've done, you see I've got this syringe, and basically it's 60 cc's at a time. So I'm going to try and squeeze that in there this way. They say it's slow going, and it is. So there's 60 in. And we're going to keep doing this until we get our 450 in there. So that's going to be, let's see, 2 of them is 120. So 4 is going to be 340. 5 will be 4. So basically I'm going to need 6 of these. So we'll keep on going as I make a mess here, and I'll bring you back to one on the next step. Back. So basically, yeah, I forgot to film the final stages of that too. I'm just not with it today. I don't know what's wrong with me. But basically on this one, once you get the bottom filled, then you take the top back off, and then you fill it back up to within 100 milliliters of the edge, and then basically bleed all the air out of it. So I've got that done, put back together. This side is ready to go. I've got the other side over here draining right now. You see it draining into the bucket, and basically I got to pull this off, and then I got to pull. I'm going to have to pull this one apart to in order to get the internals out of this one. So basically you want to use a 17 and a 14 to bust these two apart. Get it torn off. That cap just unthreads, and then the rest of it is right down there. So we are going to have to pull the seals off of this one in order to get the internals out. So basically, in order to pull this loose, you got your dust seal on the outside, you've got this little spring clip that needs to be removed. You pop that out of there, and then you just use it like a slide hammer and pop this all out. Now I am not replacing anything, so these are going to stay on here, but what I got to do is get the internals out of here. So that was the reason why I had to pull all this apart. So from here, we've got to get this little guy out of there. And Rally Raid gives you a tool to do just that. Okay, so I managed to get all this back together. However, Rally Raid let me down on this one, and for the most part I can't really say as I blame them. I can, but I can't. But I ordered the driver when I ordered the kit, and it says right on it 43 millimeter. Well, this, I don't know if you can see it or not, it says 48, and yeah, it doesn't fit. So I had to make my own using some PVC, and basically I cut a 3 or 4 inch section of PVC and cut it in half, and then clamped it around and used it as a driver and got it together. But okay, this is all together now, so now I can start putting things putting the internals back in it. So here is what I did for my makeshift seal driver. Basically, it's a piece of PVC tube, and I cut it in half. And basically clamp that over the top of it and beat it down in. So you do what you got to do, I suppose. Alright, so once that is back together, then we can start putting things back together. First the white in, then the black, then our spring. Oops. And then the washer, and then the spring, and then all of this like so. Of course I can't see because I got her too high, but bring you over here maybe. Okay, so basically, whoa, all of that goes in with a little spring clip there. So once all that's in, then we can put some fluid in it and put it back together. It calls for 400 milliliters, and I am putting it in as 60 milliliters a shot here because that's all I have. So there's 60, and we will get the rest of it in. Let me get this over to where someplace I can hold it up straight. There's 120. And then 40 more. Gives me 400. Okay, so now I've got them all back together. We can start putting things back in the bike itself. One thing I forgot to do was add the little preload thing here, but maybe I can get it on there. I doubt it, but alright, so I believe we are ready to put things back together. Alright, so you can see I got these picked up a little bit. And I'm back down on the ground here. We are going to put our legs back in. Routing everything where it's supposed to be. And we want to make sure that our bleeders are on top. We're just snugging them up now. We'll come back in and torque them up here in a minute. So those, like I say, I'm only snugging them up right now because I want to make sure that I get my fork legs even. So basically, we're going to put it back up in the air, get the wheel underneath it. Alright, so once that's on, brake pad's still looking decent shape. Alright, so everything's buttoned up. I'm just going to go through and tighten everything up. It basically says to 22 Newton meters. My torque wrench only goes down to 29.03. So, Okay, we'll get our little plastic pieces put back on, which I probably should have done before I put the wheel on. Dumbass. Yeah, to make things easier on you, put those in first. That's the wrong one. Put the protectors on before you put the wheel back on. All right, so there you have it. Rally Raid front forks installed. You'll see that they have the bleeders on the top on each one. And I've got the preload set to the first notch. And we will run with that for now. See how it works. I took a spin around the block. And you can see the little rubber thing there is telling me I've only used half of the travel, which is good. So we'll see how it works. So there it is. So thanks for watching this little bit. I apologize for my demeanor on this one. Just not in the mood to be filming right now. Don't know why. Just one of those days, I suppose. But thanks for joining me. If you like this, please give it a like, hit that comment button, and don't forget to subscribe. So thanks for watching.